Hello and welcome to Season of War and our first live stream in quite a while. So hopefully it's all working. If anything isn't working, audio, music's too loud, bridge is super pixelated, we can't do anything about that. But hello, good evening. Happy that anyone who could join us has joined us, and hopefully we'll have good discussion tonight amongst the chat as well. Again, thanks for joining us tonight. Excited to talk some Blades of Khorne, one of the many new recent Battletomes. So lots to discuss. Ridge, we've had a couple games already. What do you? I guess should we just dive in?
Yeah, it's the book is awesome, man. We've been playing. They're pumping these books out, so you got to be up to reading a lot because it's just crazy.
Tough to keep up with. But yeah, just that's the point of this video, though, is we want to give a kind of a brief look, not too brief, but a good look at kind of the high points or the key things with this army, whether you're interested in diving in and collecting it, or if you are potentially going to be playing against it and you want to know what it does. We're going to give you kind of the main points and look at what's important, not necessarily gloss over or go over every detail. If you want a more in-depth review, there's a ton out there. I know AOS Coach, Warhammer Weekly, they've all done their videos, so check those out. Actually, I don't know if we've had the Blades of Khorne Warhammer Weekly yet. So
I don't know. I know Rob has one up as well.
Yes, sir. So, Ridge, important thing, as always, first thing you look at with any army is the allegiance abilities.
Yes.
We'll go through them one by one. So the first thing, again, we're not like, we have the book up, we're going to be reading stuff, but we're more going to be talking about impacts and all that kind of thing. So first thing with allegiance abilities is always, there is an echo now. Thanks for the heads up. Echo should be gone. Let me know if there's any further issues.
The voice of Khorne, assistant rep, always on it.
Yeah, thank you guys. So first one is obviously sub-factions. There are 6 sub-factions. We'll kind of talk about some of them. But 6 sub-factions, nothing too crazy there. So first thing really to talk about is the Lotus of Fury. So this is the 5-up ward for Khorne demons, as long as they're more than 8 inches from enemies. So this is only the demon stuff. So your bloodletters, bloodthirsters, the stuff you summon. Bridge, first impressions.
Unbelievable. So one of the I think we've talked about it in our bat reps. One of the things they kind of struggled with was Scarbrand. A lot of the old book was running the Thirsters, pile and 6, double fight, all that stuff's gone, but still running Thirsters and stuff. The one thing everyone knows, Khorne gets shot. So having a 5-up ward is just unbelievable. For against long strikes, bow snakes, so many things that are still, relevant in the meta. There are some ways to get around it, which you'll see, KO and being able to get within 8, or just running a hero within 8 and then doing all your shooting, that type of stuff. So, there's going to be ways around it, but yeah, very, very, very good. Yeah,
that much needed survivability while they try and close.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, next one. So that was a demon one, purely for demons. Next one we have Murderous to the Last is purely for Bloodbound, which is all the Khorne mortals.
Yeah.
And this is similar to when Stormcast units die, they explode and deal damage as they go up to heavens. Bloodbound, when they're slain, they try and murder you on their way out. But
it's so thematic.
Yeah, but not to be outdone, they had to 1-up Sigmar, and they do it on a 5-up rather than a 6-up. So that's whenever a Bloodbound model is slain, on a 5+, that model makes a murder roll. On a 5+, it does 1 mortal wound.
Yeah.
So
which is awesome. Just out the gate, it's great to have something like that. Your mortal units are there to die. So when you're using Blood Reavers or Claws of Karanak, like whatever, just things that are gonna die anyways, it's just amazing to have a 5-up mortals just back, and mortals are king. So awesome. And it's go ahead.
I was gonna say the great thing about us doing this after our 2 battle reports have come out this week, we had Khorne versus Deepkin publicly, and then for our members, we just had Khorne versus Lumineth come out this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So there may be some spoilers in this, so pause now if you haven't gone and watched those. If you haven't watched the Lumineth one, you're not a member, check that out or consider checking it out for extra reps. But in our Khorne versus Lumineth match, it was more of a mortal build, and we saw this be very impactful.
Yes.
You know, again, spoilers, a unit of 10 Bloodbound died, got slaughtered by some Venari Wardens. You rolled 3 mortals. I made no ward save, so that's 3 guys dead. And then another 6 ended up fleeing from Battle Shock in combination with one of the great prayers that we'll talk about later. And
that was just like one little interaction, and we don't have a ton of mortals, so
no.
You know, people are running tons of units of mortals, and like it's very strong right now.
Yeah,
just
more to come.
You're not even really doing damage. You're just like dying, but also screwing with your opponents, which we'll see in the allegiance abilities coming up. But yeah, very like just awesome. Cool to see they kept it with the heroes too. So the heroes get a couple more murder rolls, and just I think it's 3. But yeah. It's a pretty thematic and cool rule overall, I think.
Yep. To be fair, comparing it to Stormcast, it is less dice because they get dice based on their wounds. This is just 1 dice per model. But I don't know. I feel like it's already come up more. Maybe it's just having more models is probably more models than they have wounds, potentially for the points. But next allegiance ability is Hatred of Sorcery, thematic for Khorne. Obviously, not a fan of magic, and this is a 5-up. Spell ignore for all Khorne stuff. All Blades of Khorne, so this is mortals and demons. So 5-up ignore, but it is not only an ignore. If they do make any of those saves, they also generate a blood tithe.
Yes.
Ridge, we haven't...
Getting invaded by a Khorne kitten.
We haven't, in either of our games so far, we haven't seen this come up much. But we know the potential here and how... strong blood tithe is, this could get nutty.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good ability. We didn't actually play Teclis in our Lumineth game, but I think we mentioned it in the bat rep. If you have Teclis, Searing White Light, tons of different just mortal wounding spells, just unbelievable to have that army wide, and then get blood tithe. Even like we see tons of endless spells running around. Ravanax, like things that are just so good for killing GCs. Crazy good that they have it army wide, and it generates a blood tithe.
And it's like Storm Searing White, like you said, if that hits 6 units, they're generating 2 blood tithe off of it on average. Really good, and blood tithe is really strong. Shout outs to Kevin Lemieux in the chat. He's our Khorne buddy from Quebec, so we'll see him at Grand Clash. I'm sure playing Khorne.
Yeah, can't wait for Clash. And someone said earlier we're not at Adepticon. Sadly not. No. I would love for some time
we to go to Adepticon. We are responsible adults, unfortunately, right now. So can't do them all.
Yep.
So that
looks good.
Yeah, so that's Hatred of Sorcery. Next one is Legions of Chaos. Quick, this is just Coalition. So 2 in every 4 units can be Slaves to Darkness. Yep. And then 1 in every 4 units can be Beasts of Chaos. Both, obviously, some great units in both to pull from. I think Slaves is going to be really interesting. Both with all the Chaos books, they all integrate really well with each other. And I think right now, with the current books, a lot of the Slaves battle or units are very strong on their war scrolls.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of potential for those to be included in these armies. So I think we'll see a lot of Coalition as well. Even Beasts of Chaos. We all know the friggin' cockatrices, how annoying those guys can be.
Yeah.
Those are like, cockatrices alone are like game-changing units at some point.
Yeah, and Chaos Gargants. But yeah, you look at the Coalition, like it's pretty much Varangard and Chosen, right? Those are the 2 big ones. It's kind of sad that they don't have if you overlook this book quickly, I know I did. I was making lists with like Be'lakor and other cultist units, but yeah, you can't ally in Slaves to Darkness, so it is just Beasts of Chaos, and they can't have wizards, so it's like
so you can exactly, you can Coalition Slaves to Darkness, but they have to have the Mark of Chaos keyword. Or Khorne keyword, and they can't have the wizard keyword. So
Exactly.
Archaon has the Khorne keyword.
It's like Corvus Cabal or
Yeah.
cultists like that you would normally want like in that army. You can't actually ally, which is at first glance I thought you could, but yeah, after kind of reading it a bit more.
Yep. So those are general overview of the allegiance abilities. Definitely some strong upgrades. Next thing up is potentially the biggest one, and that is Blood Tithe. So these are the abilities that you get to spend your Blood Tithe on. You can either do summoning or use these abilities. Again, like we saw from the update, last edition, it's a White Dwarf or Battle Scroll or something. Blood Tithe does not reset to 0, and so you can use. They did clarify that it's only one ability of each of these that you can use, but it does not reset, and these abilities are good.
That was rough times for Khorne when you had like 5 points and you really wanted to do something worth 2, but you would lose them all. It was just ridiculous.
And that was such a cool illustration of like how quickly a book could go from bad to good with just like that one change. And Khorne, like, I think is underplayed for how good it was even before this new Battletome. Yes, I think shooting got hot and scared it off a bit, but it was very, very good.
Yeah, yep, it was very good. And you saw very like great players using the hero face charging and like a lot of the small MCU units. Like the Ruben around our meta, I know very good with that. Or you saw all of the Bloodthirsters and the 6-inch pile in double fight. It was like that was the kind of
Kevin took Khorne to the finals at Grand Clash, like top table final round. If I recall correctly. So great showing there. So going through the Blood Tithe rewards, I honestly want to start with like number 8. We shouldn't, but like
save best for last.
Save best for last. And number 1. Okay, so if you have 8 Blood Tithe points, that's obviously a lot. That's 8 units dead or generated through other means. That's going to take a while. But you can use 8 Blood Tithe for Slaughter Triumphant. That's add 1 attacks to all Blades of Khorne unit melee weapons until the end of the battle. So that amazing. That's going to stack. It clarifies that above. You can use that multiple times and get +2 You're rarely to see this used, let alone for +1, let alone +2, but it has the potential to. If for some reason you and your opponent are both super MSU and a lot of stuff dies, you could see this.
And a lot of spells, like like against Searing White Light, things like we mentioned earlier, possibly, but I don't see this using too, just because so many of the other ones are so good.
That said, though, like you think if someone's running like a lot of Bloodletters, they're 2 attacks. That's another third of their damage output.
It is for sure, if you got it, it's very good still,
So that's 8 Blood Tithe. For 1 less at 7 is Let the Blood Flow. And that's like an instant ability that you roll 1 dice for each enemy unit within 3 of any Blades of Khorne. On a 2-up, they suffer D3 mortal wounds.
Trash.
I don't think you're going to see that one much. No. I would never use that unless like there's an emergency situation where you had 3 units all with 1 wound left or something.
But one time,
Yeah, exactly. But for the most part, if you want some mortal wounds out, you're going to look at least if it's single target, you're going to look at the Brascal Meteor, which we'll talk about later. So moving on to Heads Must Roll. This is for 6 Blood Tithe. You improve the rend of melee weapons by 1 until the end of the turn. So this isn't the end of the battle like Slaughter Triumphant. This is just the turn, but +1 rend if you're going into someone that's especially tanky and you happen to be on 6 Blood Tithe, maybe. Bridge, what do you think?
Yeah, it's cute, but I don't know. I don't see it ever being used. 10 Bloodletters is better than this, but I guess if you still have a couple Boomthirsters or even any type of things that are going to be in combat and all 3 are in, then possibly if you want to make sure that you're going to delete
get through the armor.
So not as bad as 7, but
for 5 points, Rising Hatred is to add 1 to Hatred of sorcery rolls until the end of the battle. So this is the spell ignore. That means you not only add 1 to rolls for ignoring spells, but also for generating the blood tithe off of it. So if you are facing, a Tzeentch Illumineth, I should see this one.
Same, yeah. At first glance, it doesn't seem too great, but it's obviously matchup dependent and completely situational. But yeah, having a 4-up spell ignore is much better than a 5-up. So.
Yeah, I didn't think about Tzeentch. Like you cut their output in half. That would be brutal and amazing.
Yep.
Number 3, we mentioned. Oh, sorry, skipped one. Number 4, apoplectic frenzy, not apocalyptic. I'm with Rob. It should be called apocalyptic frenzy. Pick one friendly Blades of Khorne unit within 3 inches of an enemy. The Blades of Khorne unit can fight. So any Blades of Khorne unit anywhere on the table gets to fight immediately. Noteworthy that these abilities are all spent at the end of the hero phase. Notable for the first or the last and best one we're going to talk about. But here, you get to pick a unit that's in combat at the end of the hero phase, and it gets to fight. Just solid, really good.
Very good, yeah. Again, situational, but yeah, with Bloodthirster's Scarbrand, this is like stonks. If you're gonna see this one used situationally a lot.
Yep. And then we have Brass Skull Meteor. So this is the one we mentioned before. You're gonna pick one enemy unit anywhere on the battlefield, roll 8 dice. On 5-ups, you deal mortal wounds. And you get 2 to the roll if it's a unit of 10 or more models. Or 10 or more wounds. So that's 3-up mortal wounds. So you're looking at, if it's, if it doesn't hit that qualifier and you're on 5-ups, you're looking at 3 mortal wounds on average.
Yeah, like this one is great. I love the Brass Skull Meteor. It's, there are a lot of units that are just 10 wound like screens. There are a lot of like Demon Princes, things that are just 10 wounds. There's any of the monsters, anything that is, you want to do, like, say, Chaos Chosen, like things that don't have a mortal save that are going to be either 10 models or 10 wounds. Amazing. And then just also another way to use, say, like Wrath Axe, other things that just do splash mortal wounds. You combine with this and you kill GCs. Like, it's, this one's great. I love it. I've loved it so far.
And that's where, like, against, a 10 wound chaff unit, you're getting 5 or 6 mortals. Against a small foot hero, you're getting, 3 on average. Like, that's where if you want to finish something off, you're going to use something like this rather than let the blood flow, which is a lot more situational.
Yep.
Number 2, Spell Eater Curse. This is spent in the opponent's hero phase. So this is immediately after they cast a spell. And before you try to unbind it, so you can't attempt to unbind it and then use this. But before you attempt it, by other means, you can immediately spend 2 blood tithe to automatically unbind a spell. Noteworthy, it does state you can only, if you spend this, you cannot spend any other blood tithe at the end of the hero phase, and I believe you can only use this once.
Yeah, still amazing. Yeah, situation like all these. That's what you love a good book. Situational
great tools.
Things. In different more tools, like that's what great books, and you can exploit those. It's just amazing.
Yep, for sure. And then
without further ado,
last and best allegiance ability, blood tithe reward, anything you want to say, best ability in this book, let alone maybe the game. We've got Murder Lust. Yep. So this one is only 1 singular blood tithe point, and you get to choose 3, up to 3, but it's not D3, it's 3 flat Blades of Khorne units. They have to be out of combat, and those units can immediately move D6 inches. Doesn't sound insane. That sounds like a redeploy or that kind of thing at first thought. But then you read the next sentence that says, they can finish a move within 3 inches of enemy units.
Yes.
So Ridge, we've seen this in our battles, specifically the second one with Lumineth. Why is this good? How is this going to be used?
It's just ridiculous. Anytime you can completely shut down an opponent's army, it's kind of similar to like the hero phase charging in the old book. So it's one of those things where you can, charge into combat, or you can just run your little unit of 10 screen outside of, say, Kragnos or some other big thing that you don't want to deal with. And then, at the end of the opponent's hero phase, you're just going to roll a d6. And as long as you're at least outside 4, you're going to be within 3. The only randomness to it is the d6. So sometimes you might not exactly be able to, but if you can plan for that. And it's just crazy. Anything that can shut down a unit's ability to move and then charge or do anything. It's just insane good.
And that's where, like you said, it's something you set up, you plan for, right? We saw it in the Khorne and Lumineth game. You ran your a unit of Blood Reavers. You can that move 5-6 inches, so they can go 11 or 12 with a run, and then
just outside 3,
and you're guaranteeing
even if I
this.
roll the 1, if I roll the 1, and then I was actually able to. The one model was able to get within 3 of the second 20 blocks. So you can shut down multiple units from being able to move or charge things that you don't want to be charged.
That was such a good highlight of this ability, and I almost want to clip it and post it as a short on YouTube or something. But it's your 10 Blood Reavers used Murderlust to tag my unit of 20 Wardens. That block of 20 Wardens was that turn going to be my hammer that was going to go take me back to an objective. So you denied me taking back an objective, which denied me potentially 2 points. You tied up that unit. I then had to attack and kill that unit. They died. We saw Murderous to the Last come up with the murder rolls. I lost 3 Wardens, and then the Bleeding Icon
lost 6 total. So you lost
couldn't 9. Let me inspire. Lost 3 because I rolled a 6, and then it added on an extra 3. So
and insane. Then the unit died, and I got a blood tithe.
yeah. It's so good. So that's Murderlust. Honestly, is it too strong?
Yes, I honestly think so. Yeah, it's. I don't know how or what if they would dial this back, but it seems like this can just be, it's obviously different into shooting armies and shooting matchups, but into a fully combat army, it's just crazy that you can run. Yeah.
With Murderlust, I think Khorne wins outside of there are always different factors in it, but I think Khorne has favorable matchups against every other combat army in the game. Many balanced armies, a lot of magic armies, but combat specifically because of Murderlust, I think it is favorable in almost any combat matchup.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is now choosing every engagement, and you are never trading on your term. Your opponent's rarely trading on their terms with their units on their turn, in an effective manner. Their hammer is not going to go remove your hammer. It's going to kill a tiny chaff unit, and you're going to laugh about it.
It's just silly too that it's 3, like Kevin just said. Why it could be 1 and it would still be strong. 100%.
Yes.
It's just silly that it can be another 2 units to move closer or to move over to an objective.
So I'm with you, Ridge. I think this ability is too strong. I love Khorne. Yeah. We're not we both play a ton of armies. Just from we can take a step back. Apologies to the Khorne players who are just super excited. I think a good change to this is you just can't end within 3.
Well, but that changes. I think that's what it's meant for. It's that's what it's there for. But
then the other change is make it 5 or 3 to 5 blood tithe.
Exactly. That's what I think the change should be. It used to be 3 blood tithes to charge in hero phase. So it should be at least, I would say, switch Brasskull Meteor and Murderlust at least.
Brasskull Meteor for 1 would be insane too.
Is also good. Then maybe make that one a little bit nerfed. I don't know.
Let the blood flow at 7 can go down to 1.
Yeah, and then literally if you switch those 2.
Move this to 3 and buff everything else down. But I think those are the changes. Murderlust either has to be more expensive, or with how good it is, it can't be that good anymore. So the easiest way I see of weakening this ability would be to remove the ending within 3. Then it becomes more of a redeploy kind of thing, reposition. You can move your screens, that kind of thing. Yes, way less impactful, but it's more. I think that's a good ability for its cost.
Yeah, Greg makes a good point too. You could also make it. He's saying on a 2-up, right? But even a 3-up, I don't know. It's even 2-up, it still seems crazy strong.
I don't
we can
like
talk about it all day, all night.
yeah,
About
I don't like adding needless unreliability to things.
Yeah.
But I think you either have to make the cost and the ability have to line up. Right now, the ability is way better than the cost. So you either have to bring down the ability to match, or you have to raise the cost.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Real good. But that's only the allegiance abilities. So we're not going to jump in through. It's I guess noteworthy. We do also have the summoning, almost an afterthought in comparison. To the blood tithe.
There's some good stuff in here still.
So obviously summoning anything from like flesh hounds, bloodletters, some heroes, all the way up to bloodthirsters. Ridge, what are your favorites?
Yeah, for sure. So the Bloodmaster's great at 3 points in this season, could be huge, right? Like we see all the tactics involving GCs. He's got a great war scroll. If you lose him, like with the bloodletters, he's still decent. So I could definitely see that, kind of like similar to like summoning a Sloppity. The skull cannons are sick, like as you're going to see me talk about later. I'm a big fan of them. Pretty much salamanders from 18 inches, so yay. Yeah. And then the 10 bloodletters is a very good unit as well for 5. Even saving up for 20 bloodletters at 8, like I could definitely see that being used as a really good hammer, especially if you're playing bloodlords. And Boomthirster at 10, like I'll kind
if you got him,
see that, but yeah.
And you need some presence on the board late game or something. Nice. Well, we'll jump from allegiance abilities. We're going to talk about sub-factions in a moment, but enhancements wise, before we jump into sub-factions, any highlights? I guess we're not going to go through them all again. You can find deep dive stuff everywhere else, or getting the Battletome yourself. Ridge, what are your favorite command traits, artifacts in the book that you've seen so far?
Yeah, so depending on what you're running, there are some good ones. So it is cool. I really like the Embodiment of Wrath. So if you're going to run the Shrine, the Blood Throne, that's great. Bringing back D3 models to the Bloodletter host units. So you'll probably see that rolling around. You're going to see Firebrand rolling around once in a while, because that makes a demon hero a priest. So there's some good like Bloodthirsters, and that can also be good. The other two I'm not too sure about. They're kind of cute, but not amazing. And then the High Priest of Khorne, I really love for the command trait for the mortals. So giving it an extra prayer, that's awesome. Or ability to do an extra prayer.
Yeah.
+1 damage is kind of cute. I guess there are some good heroes that can do it.
Khorne's Arcane Tome.
Yeah. And then the Lord of the Gore-Chosen looks amazing at first. I know when I first read it, was like super pumped, but it's Gore-Chosen keyword, not Bloodbound.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first read that, I was like, oh yeah, +1 attack. That's amazing. But it's sadly only on the Gore-Chosen, which I think are most of the heroes.
Yeah, there's not a ton.
So
like,
yeah, there's
nothing yet. Like you said, as it sounds exciting, and then you look at what actually has the keyword.
Yeah, exactly. And artifact wise, there's some really good ones. So Halo of Blood is just unbelievable. It's anything strike first in this game in a combat army. So you can, have one unit strike first and then have your other unit. You're seeing a lot of people run that with the Bloodmaster. So because right now he has the ability to strike first and then bring in the bloodletters around him. So just unbelievable for defensive wise. You know what I mean? Like strike first and then all of them attack, or if you're charging. So that one, I think you're going to see a lot. And then the other good demon one is obviously the turning off wards within 3. So against certain armies, that is just crazy stonks, like Nurgle, Night Haunt, anything that has a Fire Slayers. Like there's so many armies that have just a great ward save. So those two, I think you're going to see a lot. And then for the mortals, I really love the Banner of Blood, which I've ran. I think the first one I ran, that just the re-rolling charges, Holy 16. Secrators are amazing, so you're gonna pretty much always see one of those.
Yep.
The Crimson Plate, just a cute, another 5+ ward. I guess we have the Griff Feather Charm now, but who knows when things change. Possibly keeping that 5+ ward could be good.
Or putting on 2 heroes.
Yeah, or putting on 2 heroes. Yeah, and then the Gore Cleaver is actually awesome too. I really like that. They had that in the old Khorne books. It's just a kind of, it's thematic to having one of your awesome big mortal heroes to have a blade that adds to 1 rend, and then this one it gives you 6s to hit, doing an additional mortal. I don't know, maybe you want the +1 damage instead, but mortals are always good too. So
yep.
yeah, those are kind of the
Nice.
main ones that I think. The 2 from each. There seem to have 2 from each one pretty much that are good.
Yeah. And then another amazing aspect of the Blades of Khorne book is the prayer scriptures. Which are your favorites?
All of them, except they're like crazy good. Like prayers are already just.
It like really like embarrasses spellcasting, I think.
Oh my god, man.
Man.
Yeah, I've just been playing some Skaven lately and other armies that don't say have like huge pluses other than Thankful, and it's like, yeah, you fail a 6 to cast constantly, and it's like a 3-up rerollable a lot better.
Yeah.
Or so even the 4-up ones, like the adding Rend with the 4-up, but there's just so many ways. Killer Instinct is just unbelievable. There's so many ways to abuse that, whether it be with, you know, Bloodthirsters getting an extra hero phase move, or hero phase moving a Tunnel Master Slaughter Priest to be outside of 9, and then them blood binding something, or, you know, there's just so many ways to be crazy techie, which we love to do. So
so that's a good point. So we'll just to mention them quick, big ones that we love: Killer Instinct, you just mentioned, which is a hero phase move on a Blades of Khorne unit. That's really good. Blood Sacrifice is one you'll see all the time for generating extra blood tithe. So that's classic, deal D3 mortals to something and you get a blood tithe. Blood Bind is the one that, again, you just mentioned. You force your enemy to move 8 inches forward. Again, you use this one to great effect in the Lumineth matchup. Some great highlights in that Lumineth game. So it's lots of some great other tools. Bronze Flesh +1 to save. Really good.
Great, really good. Yep.
Unholy Flames is like the only. The last 2 are like the only ones I don't know offhand. Improve the Rend.
Yeah. Pretty good.
It's funny, you've never used that one. Like compared to everything else, it's like +1 Rend kind of is an afterthought. Says a lot, right?
Yeah, I think in that 3rd game we played out, we didn't put out, like we just played normally. I had that on a Bloodthirster and just like, okay, now I'm +3 Rend.
Yeah, it's good.
So, and even Witchbane Curse, I can definitely see it, you know, against certain things that like against casting armies, but there's just so many other good ones. I feel like you're gonna have a few of them, right? It'd be cool if there was something that let you know all the prayers. That would be amazing if there was a character or something.
But you have to. There's at least the enhancement to know the extra that you've used. But yeah,
double prayers. That's stonks. Like you're gonna see people do that a lot.
Confirming, Aaron, it is the unit moves 8 inches regardless of its movement characteristic for Bloodblind, and you have to use the full movement. So you have to go the full 8 inches or as far as you can.
Yeah, good show. Unholy Flames is kind of meh, but it really in any other book it would be amazing. Adam Rend.
So Ridge, we're not going to go through all the sub factions, but maybe a quick.
I can do like literally in 1 minute. I can pretty much.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Reapers of Vengeance +1 to hitting heroes, decent, good against if you're running Bloodthirsters or things that you know, good against Archaon, Kragnos, things like that.
A little situational because it depends on your opponent's army.
Exactly, yeah, and then getting a blood tithe for killing them. So still pretty. If you're not running the other 2, this is kind of the one you go with. Bloodlord's amazing if you're running Bloodletters, +1 to the. So you're doing mortals on 5-ups to hit if you charge, which is crazy.
With your Bloodletters.
Bloodletters are amazing in this book. Baleful Lords is if you're wholly within 8 of another Bloodthirster other than Scarbrand, you can fight at top bracket. So 8 is not the biggest range. It's like, I wish that would be 16 and it would be a lot better. But still, if you're running all the Bloodthirsters, I could definitely see this one being used. But even at that point, I think you go Reapers because 8 is just not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the demons. And then for the mortals, Gore-Tide is you add 1 to wound for all Gore-Tide Bloodbound units. If you're either on a contest or an objective that you're not contesting, or if you're fully in enemy territory. So pretty good if you're kind of planning to get into their zone and do that whole game. Skullfiend is what I ran in the latest one. So it's sweet, just 8+ to charge, strike first. So just that's cool, and you know, can be very good. Again, combat armies, if you can have a strike first effect, is very good for multiple things in combat.
Activations, yeah, that's one that didn't really come up for us based on just how the game went. But
I didn't have I think I only had the 2 Tens of Reavers, and if you run all mortals,
there wasn't really relevant. It wasn't relevant at any point, really.
Yeah, and then flayed is nice too. So if you fight with a unit after they have fought, they get a 5+ ward. So really good on skull crushers, like things that you get them in, fight first with them. Now they can't. They're pretty much not going to be touched. Like skull crusher, they a lot of the units, but yeah, a little bit over a minute, but I think it was within 2.
Yeah. So which are your favorites? What do you think are going to be the strongest, the most commonly seen?
It depends on build, but Bloodlords for sure. If you see the Bloodlord builds, if you're running more Bloodthirsters, I think Reapers is better just because, like I said, the Holy with an 8 is really tough. But yeah, so that's for the demons. I would say that, and then I don't know. All of them are actually pretty good. They're all like not crazy good, but they're all like decently good in their own way. So I could see them all. Yeah,
I think they did a good job with these of them being seasoning, where it's like they're not super linear sub factions. Okay, you have to do this. Maybe the Bloodlords a little bit, and there's some builds, but you can almost build the army and then fit it into a sub faction. You probably have 2 options with any kind of build.
Yeah, a couple people in the chat saying what they've tried and whatnot, but yeah, Gortide being solid because you're always on objectives. Yeah, see, I agree. I haven't played as much Mortals. I'm kind of lean. You'll see once we get to some of the units, I'm leaning a little bit more to the demons, but I could definitely see that. Yeah.
Nice, awesome. On that note, what are we jumping into next? Let's look at, I guess, battle tactics and grand strategies. Unless we want to go through all the Path to Glory stuff.
Oh, I love Path to Glory.
It actually
name all our Bloodthirsters.
Yeah. Path to Glory is actually sweet, but it's almost too complicated. I would love to do it more, use it, but it's like honestly tougher to get into than like match play.
Yeah, we've played. Remember, we did a little solo girl that one time for like 2 weeks, and then we're like, ah.
Yeah, I did all my games.
Oh yeah, you did finish. Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah, but grand strategies for Khorne. So we got 4. Ridge, any good ones?
Garbage. Next.
Okay, on to battle tactics. Bridge.
I feel like it's a 40k thing. Next.
Yeah.
Shout to Vince and Tom.
Yeah.
And Tyler.
Yeah. But seriously, it's like, what do you take? What's your grand strategy in Khorne?
Take what's theirs. I've been taking the Day as Ours because just Slaughter Priests and Secretor.
You have a lot of GCs.
So good. Oh my god, yeah. So yeah, the Day as Ours I think is a really good one, but
so those
it's unfortunate that the grand strats are just crap, but some books that's what happens.
Yeah, books are hit and miss. I find with the grand strats.
Yeah, the tactics are okay though, so
sweet.
There's that.
So we got 6 tactics. What do you have them up there, or I can go through them real quick. Blood for the altar. So that's pick a enemy unit within 8 inches of your skull altar and kill it. That's always a great one. Classic for any army that has terrain.
Yep.
So that's a really doable one. Slay the sorcerer. Pick an enemy wizard hero on the battlefield and kill it. Another solid one. A lot of people got wizards, and they're often really squishy. So mid-late game when they're exposed, kill them.
Yep.
Trial of Skulls. Pick 1 friendly unit, and it has to kill 8 or more enemy models.
Love that.
Another good one. Again, thematically, a lot of stuff around killing here, but built it. It's on brand.
That's what Khorne is. Yeah, that one's great. Little 10-man screens, it's great.
No cowards among us, so you complete this battle tactic if all friendly Blades of Khorne units are within 8 inches of enemy units. I think that's a really good one as well.
Yeah, this one you got to be careful, but it can be very good, especially if you don't have many units. This is like a last ditch turn 4, turn 5. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really good, but you do have to plan around it. If you're to go in and blow something up, that could be a problem. But if you're, say, going into 2 units or 3 units, or you're going to go kill, a unit of Chosen and there's a Sorcerer Lord behind, make sure everybody's within 8 of the Sorcerer Lord and you're getting it, even if you wipe out the Chosen.
Exactly.
So that's where it takes planning, but I think it's going to be it's a very achievable one in a lot of games, I think.
Big time.
Even if you're behind, that's one tough thing. A lot of armies have tough time storing their battle tactics when they're playing from behind. This is a really good one when you're playing from behind. You need to retreat out of combat, avoid, getting hit, that kind of thing. You can do that and stay within 8 inches, get this one without having to engage.
Yeah.
So, really good. Leave none standing. Pick 1 friendly unit within 3 of any enemy. Complete this battle tactic if it fights in combat, and And then there's nothing within 3 at the end. So basically, hit the unit that's in combat, make sure it kills everything in combat and is outside of 3 afterwards.
Notable, just don't do this and then do apoplectic frenzy because you won't get it.
Yeah. Though you can kill a unit, then go charge and kill another unit and still achieve it.
I guess, yeah, because you're choosing the Bloodthirster or whatever you choose.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You have to fight again. You have to fight in combat specifically.
That's cheeky, yeah.
You could do both.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Battlefield runs red. To complete this battle tactic, and 4 or more units were destroyed during this turn.
It's been tough. I kind of thought about it, but that one seems pretty tough.
I don't know. It's like, I think it's situational. I think 4 is a lot. Even if you think I'm killing 2 of their units and maybe I'm gonna try and sacrifice 1 or 2 of mine.
Yeah.
And you like, that's maybe a mid to late one if you have.
Oh shit! Okay, I've been reading that as killing 4. Yeah, you're right. 2, it can be friendly as well.
So you can, you know, if you have like 1 or 2 models left in a chaff unit, like 2 Blood Reavers left, go run them in, generate the blood tithe, get this. Like,
yeah, actually, that seems much better now. So I was reading that as killing 4 enemy units.
Yeah,
that's a little steep.
Yeah, no, this is 4 units die. Again, Khorne cares not from where the blood flows, but 6 really good battle tactics here.
Yeah,
like, I think this is
some of the best. Yeah,
one of the best suite of tactics that we've ever seen.
And definitely thematic. I didn't really comment on the first couple, but yeah, amazing. Killing the wizard, the first one too. Like, you can put your Skull Altar in a lot of deployments that are far up. You can put them halfway at the board, just not garrison in it. You just got to be wholly within 8 of it, and that's the big stonks, right? So
Yep. Quick question from Cal in the chat. If Mortals is the best way to go, honestly, I think either way is the best way to go. If you like Mortals, go Mortals. If you like Demons, go Demons. They're both good.
Yeah, they're both going to be good. A little bit different play styles, but yeah, whatever kind of floats your boat.
Yeah. There's a 4 battalion for a bunch of heroes. Or chosen. If you want to take a ton of heroes, you can put them down in 1 drop. Essentially, really easily bringing you to a 2 drop if you have 6 heroes. Though I think you could be a 2 drop anyways with 6 heroes. So.
Yeah, this one, but notably, this one actually gives you the Magnificent as well.
That's true.
I overlooked this at first as well, but it's like, it is actually very good.
That is really good.
You can make that 1 drop and also still get your artifact.
So if you can keep to 5 units and 6 heroes, you can be a 2 drop with an extra enhancement. That's actually really, really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Nice, but it is 5 here. So that 6th one goes in your battle regiment. That's really good.
Yeah, Gore chosen unit though, like we said, not very many. Like,
but if you're going, so it's obviously a mortal one specifically. I don't think you could taking 5 door chosen heroes isn't out of the realm of normal. You know, we saw against Lumineth you took 4 probably.
Yeah.
Well, no, you took 5 because the Bloodstoker's got to be 1 too.
Yeah, Stoker, 2 priests, a crater, and the new hero. Yeah.
Ritualist. So you had 5 there. So you could have done it, and then look at that. You're missing out. So we're not gonna go through all the war scrolls. Ridge. What are your highlights? What do you really want to talk about? So what are the big?
Yeah, we can. I think the best way to do it is just go through like quick overview of the Bloodthirsters, and then maybe like a quick overview of the demon stuff that we think is good, and then maybe the mortal stuff. So Scarbrand changed, as everyone knows. He can't really add to his mortal wounds anymore. I think he's still going to be good. You're still going to see him once in a while. But yeah, he was abused before because you could fight twice, obviously, in the 6-inch pile. Amazing now he has a 5 up ward outside of 8 because of the allegiance abilities. And still just doing all those mortals is nice. He has a 3-6 charge now too. So yeah, if in the premium that last matchup with Lumineth, he was pretty sweet. So still think he's great. But yeah, not as strong as he was just because of all the other Reapers stuff from the last book. Yeah. The Bloodthirsters are good. It's kind of pick and choose what you want. So I really love the 1 Bloodthirster Unfettered Fury that gives a 3d6 charge to the Bloodletters, because I'm gonna, if you're running other like Bloodletters and things like that. He also has the -1 to hit aura. Doesn't do too much damage, but really good utility.
Yeah, the
Boomthirster
3d6 charge is amazing.
Yeah, very, very good. The Boomthirster is just crazy good. D3 + 3 damage now instead of D6, so just way more reliable. Yep. And being able to give attacks from the Blood Secretor, stomping his like banner once per turn is great. And you'll see him with the hero phase move, just so good. So yeah, I really love running a bunch of boom thirsters, as everyone probably does.
And notable, they've all gone up to 12-inch movement and 16 wounds.
Yeah, and then now having the outside of 8, 5 aboard is just all quality of life increases, except the double fight and the 6-inch pile. But those are whatever, minor. The Wrath I really like too. If you're going to run other Bloodthirsters, he's amazing. So he's wholly within 16. He fights, and then another one fights. Like, that's such a good rule.
Can chain activate.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and if you have the Halo of Blood, like the fight first, that's going to add to that, right? You can have so many activations.
So you fight first, you fight at the start of the phase, and then immediately activate another, and then you have your first normal activation.
Exactly.
So you're getting 3 activations.
Exactly. It's like the Karkadrak thing with the Knights. It's so strong. Like if you get all the things into combat. So a Boom Thirster is the unfettered, or what's it
Insensate
called?
Rage.
Insensate Rage. It's essentially the one that after it activates, if you roll 6s to wound, it does 4 mortal wounds to everything within 8 of it. For each 6 you roll to wound. So can stack.
You don't watch our Idoneth Deepkin game from earlier in the week, you'll see he got the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage into the middle of my army, proceeded to roll 2 6s to wound, which dealt 8 damage, 8 mortals in addition to everything else, to 5 different units, which is 40 mortal wounds. So situational, but can have a big impact.
And they hit on 4s now, so you can only hit on 3. So yes, you're not getting as many.
It was always on 4s.
But you could reroll 1s before.
Yeah, that's true.
3s rerolling 1s was much better. Yeah. But it's like, So I don't know. I think all the Bloodthirsters are still good. They're not like I don't know why they don't have like at least 3 damage or D3+2 or even D3+1.
On the peripheral ones, obviously Insensate Rage is good, but
it's ridiculous that they're
3 flat
D3 damage.
Yeah, 3 flat damage, but
so
maybe you reduce the attacks, because like obviously they hit on 2s and 2s. At times it's really good. So
that's one of the things.
So maybe if you go to 3 flat, they'd have to go to 3s and 3s, right?
Yeah, or 6 attacks instead of 8, but whatever, just not D3 damage, because you can put through 6 or 7 -2 or -3 if you have the rend, and then roll 6 1s. It's like, okay, cool, this did nothing.
But a lot of similarities, not massive changes to this one. To the Bloodthirsters in general.
Yeah, just a bit more move, bit more wounds, and the Allegiance ability helps them massively. So yeah, just a bit quality of life increases. For the other stuff, I really like the Skull Taker's cute. He can do some damage. He's fun. He against other heroes, so it's that kind of thing. I don't think it's really competitive. You're going to see him, but and then Karnak and the Fleshhound. Fleshhounds are still an awesome little screen. Very cheap, 100 points. Then you get into the Bloodmaster and the Bloodletter. So here's the great part of the Dean stuff. This is what I'm most pumped for. The Bloodmaster is just awesome. So just a cheap priest, +1 to wound prayer within 16. So great. You can give him any of the amazing prayers that they have. And then as well, he can take like I said, the fight first Halo, and then he can activate, and then anything Bloodletter unit holy within 16 activates in any order you want is so strong. So defensively and offensively, both. So yeah, he's Bloodmasters. You're going to see a lot of them running around. And then Bloodletters, amazing. So just they got completely changed. So they've went to 2 wounds, as you can see, and then now they have 2 attacks, not 1. 3s and 3s -1/1 damage, and they kept the same 6 to hit to an immortal.
2-inch range as well.
2-inch range as well, or you can run them in GV. So yeah, just awesome to see the Bloodletters be really good, because they back in the day they were okay when you could like add to the modified roll for the mortals. But yeah, awesome to see that. So yeah, I've been playing lots of them.
And notable in the one sub faction, the mortal wounds becomes 5s rather than 6s if you're on the charge.
Exactly, to hit on the hit roll, which is it ends up being quite a few. And then the skull, like I said before, the Blood Throne you're going to see, because he's awesome. He has this prayer to bring back D6 or a Blood Crusher, D6 Bloodletters or a Blood Crusher, and he's just kind of your hero that can bring back Bloodletters, and again he has a prayer and he can do some damage here and there. And the Blood Crushers are great little units that you can kind of good screens. They're 3-up save, so good mobility. Just a couple units of those you're going to see just with demon units or demon kind of builds. So yeah, they're great. And then skull cannons are stonks. Love them so much. I haven't played too many games with them because you can't buy them anywhere, but just like I guess TTS or whatever. Like I said earlier in the video, they're a salamander profile from 18 inches.
Yep.
So they just don't do the 6-2 mortals like Sally's do. But they have an awesome ability that if you kill a model in combat, which they have, you know, a couple 4 attacks, 3 series -1 damage, and another 1 attack, then they automatically shoot their gun after they kill a model. So
that's so good. That's like really
good.
Really good.
Yeah, hero phase move one of these things, or not even have to. If you're in range, just move it 8, shoot the hell out of something. Say like 20 wardens, whatever you want, like 20 of anything. Kill however many, charge it, kill like 2 more, and then shoot your gun again, kill another 7. Like it's
you'll see what like these things can hold objectives by themselves and take objectives by themselves. That's something you don't often see with shooting, right? Like 18 inches range is like on the more limited side compared to a lot of stuff, but 8-inch move makes a 26-inch threat. Like you said, that's 34 inches if you also want to move it in the hero phase.
Yeah, even the 8-inch move, that's Sally's move 8 too. Yeah. That's hilarious. Just all the similarities. But you can't find these things anywhere. So if you can, get your hands on them.
Send them to us.
Yeah, and send them to me so I don't have to 3D print any or convert them from other things. But yeah, that's pretty much the demon stuff. Yeah, just
Mortals.
super pumped. Yeah, let's go to Mortals. What's up, Tristan? Love you too, buddy. Okay, so the mortal stuff, what do you think? They're just all the heroes. They're so many good heroes.
Priests are good. Obviously, Realm Door Ritualists, Slaughter Priests, they're great. We saw the stocks, you know, the prayers. The Realm Door Ritualist prayer on the War Scroll is the -1 attack one, so obviously it ought to be in 16 already, unless you want to hero phase move them. No, that's at the end of the movement, so you can't do that, or at the end of the hero phase. But -1 attack is a huge debuff. Again, prayers, you can't stop it. As long as you get it off, you have potential reroll. Tortoise Cole, you've been saying you kind of like, you've been tell me to paint him up.
Yeah, I gave you the model, like, paint him, Jordan, let's go.
I have 2 or 3 of them model now.
Yeah. No, he's great. Anything that has a fucking 8-inch pile in is awesome. So it's just insane that you can pile in 8 inches. He's a 3-up save, 7 wounds, 6 attacks, 3 series, -2 2 damage. You run him with one of the skull grinders or like the dudes that give you an extra rend. Like he's just awesome. So I can't wait to run him. He makes what is it? I think he makes a unit. Is it fight? Oh no, that's the unnamed one. Makes you fight first.
And notable, can run and charge with a whippy boy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's only 2 damage. It would be, but still that many attacks. I don't know.
It's solid.
He can definitely like kill another GC or kill an other GC, I should say, or just like something in the back. But yeah, he's cool. What else? The Lord of Khorne is great on the mount. He's decent damage, 2-up save. Yeah, pretty good. 2-up does 3 mortals on the charge, so you'll see that. Mortal wounds are awesome. And then, I kind of going through every scroll here, but yes, Scar's the same. Scar's awesome. Just cool little unit that can do what he does.
Yep.
Secrators are just
so Blood Secrator used to have the aura of +1 attack. Was amazing. Auto take all the time, every list in Khorne. It is now +1 attack once per game, but it's board wide for all Khorne units, which is amazing. And then he also rallies Bloodbound models on a 4-up.
Yeah, which is very, very good with like Bricks of Blood warriors, or just in general, just another 4-up rally, because that's what the game needs, right?
Especially when stuff is like dying and dealing mortals and all that combination that we saw.
Yeah, let's just see the Seraphon book have all the 4-up rallies too, and then
Seraphon book is gonna be the like trash.
Yeah, super pumped to see that stuff. But yeah, Secrator is just great. 3-up save, 6 wounds. Like, he's awesome.
Yep. We talked about Slaughter Priests.
Slaughter Priest just
great.
Blood Boil as well is just a war scroll spell that can just do a bunch of damage. The Grinder's cool. Like I said, he can give you rend to your other heroes. And he does 3 attacks at 3 damage, so it could be cute.
Deathbringer's doing anything for you?
Nah, they're just a cheap GC, so I do like, they're nice. 3 up save, 6 wounds. Everything pretty much has the Stormcast profile. Like they've just upgraded to
if you need those extra door chosen heroes for the battalion.
Yeah, exactly. And then Reavers are like kind of what we said, just your very, very good little cheap blood tithe and, you know, murder lusting units that are just getting in there and just being annoying. Wrathmongers are same as kind of they were before, where they're good units to add attacks. They can do a decent amount of damage as well. You know, rallying them back too. I really like Wrathmongers, so they're going to be strong. And they have the hit roll for mortals.
So Blood Warriors, I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, people, well, they were good in the last book. I saw people using them to pretty good effect. They don't seem great on the War Scroll, right? 3s and 4s doesn't seem too great. But there were 3 up save. Khorne hasn't had a unit with a 3 up save with 10 models like this. You know what I mean? Not like a Chosen or something like that. Obviously not nearly as good as Chosen, but yeah, I don't know. I also same as you. I've heard people say they're insane, and then I've heard people kind of on the other end. I don't think they're going to be that good.
The wounding on 4s is obviously, you know, a concern. 1 rend, 1 damage.
Yeah, having a rend, I get it. The 6 back to do mortals is like whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
It's solid because it's another way of chipping down mortals, which, you know, these guys are already doing. Or Bloodbound already do.
Yep. The only way I can see this is if you like
extra murder rolls on the Blood Warriors.
You're doing all the defense. You're running them in decent sized units, and with Bronze Flash, you know, they're definitely going to be.
They'll be super tanky.
But that's kind of goes against what Khorne does, right? With the murder roll thing and doing mortals. It's kind of
you don't mind. Yeah, your Blood Reavers dying, and then generating Blood Tithe, so you can power up your big hammers rather than building into anvils is kind of feels a little counterintuitive to the
Yeah. But I could see min units or just kind of rolling around with them.
Kevin makes it a point throwing them on objective because they can kind of hold their own off by themselves.
Well, they can stand on a circle. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Bloodstoker, we mentioned earlier, no longer whatever his insane abilities were that every Slaves of Darkness player loved for 2 weeks. Yeah. Now he picks D3 friendly Bloodbound units, so that's the mortals, within 3 inches. So not holy, but just within. And they can run and charge. They might take a mortal, but they're definitely running and charging.
Yes. Awesome on the Skull Crushers. Or any of the mortal or stuff that you're going to kind of use it on in the Bloodbound stuff. But I really love it. Yeah, the Skull Crushers, which is going to be the next one we're talking about. Goes really well with them. So yeah, I know you loved when I charged with the Skull Crushers, and their ability is actually within 3 inches to do more.
Oh my gosh, so this is, I think it was a little silly. Is a silly rule. So yeah, as you said, Skull Crushers deal impact mortals. 1 mortal on a 2-up, 2 mortals on a 5-up. Really good. Also within 3 inches. So each model has to be within 3 inches. We've seen like Lord Rentas within 1 inch. That seems notable, normal. You go charge, hit a unit, you're dealing mortals. This one you don't even have to charge that unit or hit that unit, be in base contact with that unit. 3 inches away. That just seems weird. It should be 1. These heavy cav that do really good impact mortals, part of the weakness and the downside is that you're not getting a lot of them in. Right? Yeah. That's part of the challenge. That's why. So, I mean, it makes them.
They're not crazy damage or anything, but these guys utility wise are very good in little 3-packs. You know, Bronze Flesh or just a giant pinning unit. 2 up save is
Yeah, imagine 9 of these guys with Bronze Flesh. They're all because of the 3-inch range. All of them are doing the impact mortals. That's what
It'll be funny to see. So someone please run that and shoot me a message about it.
That's like what, like 10, 11 mortals on average on impact?
If it's 9,
Yeah.
so it would be 8, and then of those 8, you would add on for 3 of them because that would be the 5 up. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 11-ish. That's nuts.
Yeah, really good. Scroll Reapers. Anything else? Any other war scrolls? I honestly like nothing else in the book
near
really
the end
has stood out.
Yeah, there's a couple things actually that I like at the end here. Skull Reapers they're a lot of attacks. I can see you running a bunch of them because they add +1 to hit for 5 or more. This is another one where people are like, oh, they're not going to be great. They're pretty expensive, I think. You know, they're like 190 for 5 or something like that. But they have quite a few attacks. You can kind of juice them up in different ways, rally them back on a 4+. You know, again, not amazing, but could see running them. Closet Karanak are awesome because you can they have the normal move at the beginning of the game, so they move 6 like the Untamed Beasts. So just an awesome unit to do that. They actually have a decent amount of attacks with Ren too, so these are good units for getting Blood Tithe. You can see you running a bunch of these Closet Karanak. So
so that's really good. Like the pre-game move is amazing.
Yeah, in a book, and really good in this book, right? Because just getting that screen out, just in case, depending on what you're playing. Very good. So I see a unit or 2 of those for sure. The 2 beast guys, the Korgorath, cute. Has the 3 within 3 inches. You can't do Inspiring Presence, so that's cool. Does a little bit of damage, but he's also a really good piece just to kind of go murder lust and tie stuff up. And then as well, if he dies, you don't care because it's Blood Tithe.
And that's the thing. These were always, you would see them a lot, not a lot, but commonly in previous, Battletomes of running 3 to 5 of them because they're cheap enough that together they're in a pack. They're properly scary, and then in generating 5 Blood Tithe. Stuff like
exactly.
They're efficient, points efficient for what they do and what you get out of them. Yeah.
And then the rest of the stuff, like the Drum and the Gorchosen of Drum, like they're garbage. And then the actual the Warcry Orbans are awesome. So Garrick's Reavers are unbelievably good. I definitely need to pick up one of these. So just the cheapest way to get Blood Tithe essentially, but as well their ability, actually you receive an additional Blood Tithe if you kill the model. So if you just get them in, and they have three attacks, 3s, 4s, they're not going to do a ton, but just giving you a free Blood Tithe and then another one when they die.
3 attacks is a lot, right?
70 points. Like
how many models are in the unit?
I think it's like 6. I don't know. It doesn't say. Someone in the chat will probably know.
3 attacks each is a lot.
Yeah, like they're going to do a wound.
With Rend.
They're probably going to do a couple damage, which means you'll get a Blood Tithe, and then if they die, you get another one. So I love them just for really cheap Blood Tithe. And the other ones, the Magors seem, again, but they're 3-up saves, so they could stick around. I haven't really read actually much into them, but yeah, I don't know.
Nice. Well, lastly, War Scroll wise is Invocations and Terrain. Take them all.
Very good, all of them. Yeah, it's just like crazy good. The Hexgorger Skulls are still what they were, like very good against casting armies, minusing their casting by 2, and then as well if they roll an 8, they take D6 mortals. So pretty awesome. Bleeding Icon, I don't need to tell you how good that is. Anyone that knows how strong Horrorghast is, this is pretty much a Horrorghast with an 8 instead of 12.
And you can't dispel it.
You can't interact with it unless you have a priest, which is just one of the strongest things in the game. And then as well, if you roll, it's a 1 to a 5, D3 more go. If you roll the 6, it's D6, but then it goes away. So that's kind of notable. But yeah, a mini Horrorghast you can interact with is pretty good.
Wrath Axe.
Awesome, crazy good for mortals. And then you'll see the next one. It actually, all the Invocations, you can double their length if you're garrisoned in the altar. So just shooting this thing out, double what I think it's 8. So 16 inches. Then it's going to go 8, so 24 inches, and then it D3 something, and then D3's another, or D3's everything, and then on a 2-up, and then D3's whatever unit you pick, but could also be D6 if you roll 6. So
really
just crazy spike damage with mortals, in alignment with Blood Boil and Brass Skull Meteor. You're taking out GCs and killing stuff. So
and like you said, so the terrain piece extends the range of your prayers Or the invitations, sorry.
Invocations, yeah.
But then lets you re-roll your prayers, which is amazing. Well, you're wholly within 8, so not even just the garrison die. All your priests. That's real good.
Yes, big time. And then, and it's just like a annoying piece that you can kind of put in the way if you want to.
Yep. And then...
Oh, it also makes, I forgot about this. If your opponent miscasts, which is already like shit when you miscast, it's annoying. They actually take D6 mortals instead of D3, just for the altar being on the field.
Slaves to Darkness players know how bad D6 mortals can be.
Yes.
Miscast. I've lost many a sorcerer lord, and 9 out of 10 times it's them killing themselves.
Yeah, I did my very first cast of all time with the new Slaves book back last year. It's just, hilarious.
Nice. Well, so that's the Battletome. Overall, let's talk power level. Ridge, where do you rate this? Like, just looking at the book itself, what do you think? How strong is this book on its own merit?
I think it's going to be pretty strong. This is another one of those books, I think, with all the tools it has, it's going to be in the right hands. It's going to be very strong. Very good into magic armies, obviously. So into Tzeentch, Lumineth, things like that. It's going to be very, very strong. Just having that 8-inch outside of 8/5 of ward for the demons is awesome. So now it has more play into shooting. That obviously was one of the biggest weaknesses before. But just the techiness of all that stuff, I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be quite strong. What about you?
100% agree. Like, you talked about magic, everything. I think you said before, it's super good tools against other combat armies. It has great tools for almost every matchup, right? Like, it's now maybe not great tools, but they're still shooting is a liability, right? It still is a combat army, so it has those restrictions. It has to get into combat. It can close a lot faster than it used to be able to. We talked about how good Murder Lust is. That's going to win it many combat matchups. And then still shooting is a weakness, but the 5-up ward, as you said, is still great.
Yeah,
it really helps there.
Yeah, and build wise, like that's like for the demons for the one thing, but for mortals, just running like a bunch of MSU units and literally just like messing with your opponent the entire game and just standing on objectives and getting battle tactics and just murder lusting is gonna legit be attacked like a style of play, which is just bonkers.
I've been painting up our Blood Reavers. I had 2 Khorne collections. Between those 2 Khorne collections, I had 80 Reavers. There's a good chance that you could see lists that it's viable to run 80 Reavers. Yeah,
exactly. I know. Yeah, it's gonna be just nuts if you like doing that. I don't know, it is fun, and it's one of those styles that's like you're not fighting a ton either, right? So it doesn't take super long. Like
you're dying,
and you can also have a lot of really wound dense bloodletters, even just right, like it's a lot of wounds.
And that's like 80 Reavers is 1,000 points. That's half your army. Those 80 Reavers are going to clog up the board, really stop any army from doing what it wants to do or getting where it wants to go. Then you have 1,000 points for heroes and hammers. Like, it's notable.
For sure. Yep. Yeah.
Well, so that's looking at the book in itself, really strong, good rules. I mean, the last thing to talk about is its place in the meta. We kind of bled into that, talking about what it's going to be good against. Well, I guess specifically, what armies do we think it might struggle with? There's going to be a lot of armies it's going to be good against, but what ones do we think might be a challenge for Khorne?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next. And I know someone asked in the chat earlier. You would think it's going to be armies that can put out the damage and be, that are decently fast and are within 8 if they're fighting demon units, right? So like, I don't know, I'd think of like Iron Jaws and Slaves right away because they can just get in there and kill a lot of your stuff. So yeah, I think it's got to be, right? Because the shooting stuff, it depends if you're playing mortals and demons, I guess, is kind of different. If you're playing the mortals, some shooting could do a number, but as well, then you have your Bloodsecrator for the 4-up ward and you can't shoot him technically, right? Yeah. So even that or it's not the 4-up ward, the 4-up rally. So even that would be still decent. And anything that dies is blood tithe. So I don't know. Yeah, I would think like maybe like a good Iron Jaws player, or like I said, slaves, units that are fast and can get a lot of things into combat. But even then, you have your ways with the bloodletters and the strike first, and there's definitely counterplay. So
and I think it's gonna be very tough for any of those armies to choose the engagements that they want, right? And that's notable. And then they're taking, you go charge a couple units in, then they're taking Blood Boil, they're taking a Brass Skull Meteor. If they are super tanky, if they're not super tanky, they're just getting hit back. There's a bunch of things. Shout out to Assistant Ref. He corrected my horrible math. 640 points for 80 Reavers. Because they're 80 points. So yeah, that's pretty good.
I didn't even catch.
So that's you still have 1,300 points plus for other stuff. Amazing. And you don't even need like 80 Reavers. Drop some of those and run some of the war bands like we talked about that are amazing as well.
I think Garrick's for sure. You want to run at least one of those. Darktron saying Nurgle. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It might be a damage kind of thing, but it depends on what you run.
Nurgle's going to do more damage in combat, care less about the mortals from, the...
Yeah.
So I can see it.
I could see Nurgle. Yeah, that's a good show. Yeah. I don't know. Things that kind of kill it, because if you don't, they're gonna just be on you and decent on the primary.
Yep.
It's just great to see. I just love it. It's great to see. Khorne has been just garbage for so long, so it's awesome to be able to see them be very strong and be able to play in the primary and be able to actually, be good.
Kill stuff.
Yeah, I love to tell Jeremy, my buddy, that that I got me into the whole hobby. He's a huge Khorne guy, so you see all the Slaughter Priests and stuff on the channel. That's his stuff, and he's loved Khorne. So I was telling him about it, and it's awesome to see those old school Khorne players or Warriors of Chaos that hey, the Khorne book's actually good now, man.
Yeah,
and play it.
We still saw the Bloodthirsters and that, but now it's a great job of internal parity, on trend with the current edition Battletome. So super excited to see it. Anyways, Ridge, any final thoughts?
Not really. Just excited to get more games in. I found one of the start collecting the old out of print start collecting with the Skull Cannon 10 blood letters and 3 blood crushers. So yeah, getting excited to get building some more and get some more units going.
Yeah, nice. Well, look forward to seeing some Khorne shooting as well. But guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Battletome. We went a little longer than planned, but lots to talk about, lots of exciting stuff going on in this book. So we hope you enjoyed this kind of overview of some of the real powerful strengths in this Battletome. Again, check out some of the other channels that we mentioned if you want deep dives of all the war scrolls and everything. Lots of awesome content out there, so go support all your creators. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next week for Slaanesh Week. Have some fun.